This is the music I like to put on to get in the mood to live stream. Right, I'm not going to start until I see at least one live chat. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mrs. Sir, Madam. It's not the music from Dallas, I'm afraid. I do have that somewhere, but don't encourage me. So, hello everyone. Welcome to my live stream. What are you doing? What do you want? What do I want? What do we want? What do we need? What are we going to do? What are we not going to do? Hi, everyone having a nice time? I'm going to do something a little different. Hello from Brighton. Hi, Brighton. I'm going to do something a little different today, this evening, this day, this night. I'm going to explore some devices that I've not tried before. It's going to be very interesting. Hello from Italy as well. Oh, wow. People from all over the world. Lovely stuff. Hi, Dwayne Wilson. You have a great last name. What was I just saying? Yes, so I just this week got all of the mono maxforlive devices that are available on the Isotonic Studios website. The link is in the description. Go and have a look. If you hear a little bit of whirring when I'm talking, well, that's me, but also I have a fan blowing on me. So double whir. Double whirly. The mono devices, largely from what I understand, are faithful, how should I put this? Highly meticulously detailed, faithful reproductions of old classics that some of us may be familiar with, some of you may not be familiar with. But it's a fresh take on them, integrated into the Ableton Live universe. And we're going to have a look at them. Some of them are not new. In fact, I am rather late to the party. Some of them are incredibly new. And some of them I had the pleasure and privilege of overseeing some of the development. I got to test some of them, and I got to sort of have meetings and do some comparisons to the real hardware in which they are reimagining. And before I get started, one thing I need to say is that it's one of the best looking manuals I've seen in a very long time. This is a manual for Maya, polyphonic synthesizer for Ableton Live. It's just so wonderfully made. I haven't read it. I just looked at it and thought, gosh, what a huge amount of work has gone into this. Kind of puts the rest of us to shame. Sometimes I have to write manuals and they always look like shit application forms or something. But this is absolutely beautifully designed and very well explained. Very nice to look at. It's really nice. So we're just going to look at the manual for a little while because it's just so tasty. Look, there's some little explanations here about the duty cycle of the modulation section. Yes. Oh, look at these. I feel like I'm reading it in 1978 or something. It's like I've just picked it up in some dusty thrift store. It's really rather nice. Oh, look at all this. Look at these attack. So it explains the attack, decay, sustain, release stages of your envelope. That is what it's all about, isn't it? So your attack is the rising part of the stage. So you go from nothing to a specific destination. Set by these times here. Look, so 0.3 seconds, you get this. 0.04 seconds, kind of nothing. 0.4 seconds, you get this. 4 seconds, you get that. And then your decay time is the time at which it goes from the full rising stage down. So we've gone up the attack and now we come down with the decay. And then you reach the sustain stage, which is the level at which the signal is whilst you hold your finger on the keyboard. And then the release is how long we go back to 0 when we let go. That is beautiful. Look at that. Fantastic. Wow, even more stuff. Anyway, we don't need to keep looking at this. Oh, look, there's a little picture of him there. Oh, a little push 3 to diagram. Oh, that's it. That was just so nice. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm so pleased we did that. When the manual doubles as a free intro to synthesis course, badass. Yes, I agree. So let's delete this stupid thing here and have a look at. So we have. Let's have a look at some of them. Some of these I don't actually know what they are. Comp times 54. Sorry. So console times 80. EQ times 73. Pre times 73. I have a rough idea what they are. And curves, I know what curves is. Curves is kind of a Pultec style EQ. I'm going to try that on some drums, on some break beats. There's some magic stuff, some magic juju that can happen in the low end, which is very, very nice. Maya, which is a polyphonic synthesizer based on a classic 80s. Mono 1 is another mono synthesizer based on another classic 80s. Don't know what. Oh, these are opto compressor and a tape machine emulator. Ooh. So, but we're going to start with Maya because that is the newest one. So I'm going to get Maya and I'm going to load it into a track here. And we're going to have a look at it. So, first of all, it's absolutely beautiful. Now, what I like about it is that it has a little bit of skeuomorphism without it being too much that you're tricked into thinking that you're using the real thing, and dipping its toe ever so slightly into the familiar vanilla user experience that Ableton has. So, you know, these all look like they look a little bit like the things that exist in real life, but they also look a little bit like an Ableton device. Right, we're going to need some volume. I'm just going to do something with all the black notes to start with. Did Ableton capture that? Let's see if it did. So okay. I mean, already it sounds like a 1978 public information movie, doesn't it? So let's have a look at what we've got here. There's a little bit of inertia when you move the sliders. Can you see that? They sort of, you click it and they sort of, that's really satisfying. Whoa. You just sort of flick it and it's gone. Right, okay, I mustn't get distracted. So what have we got here? I think that's pulse width maybe. Let's just max out the filter. I'm just going to put that start position in a little. I think that might be LFO. That might be an LFO to the digitally controlled oscillator. Some pulse width there. Bit more release. Okay, that's LFO to the filter. Ah, that's envelope for the filter right there. Let's just do something nice and plucky. Right, let's just stop that. Whoa! Maybe I'll do it on the push. Let's put this to like C minor. Is that loud enough? Go a bit more. So we've got, I think we've got pulse width and saw. Let's turn the pulse width off. This is just saw, I think. There's the sub. Bit of noise. Let's maybe have a bit of a slow attack. Attack. That's nice. I'm having a nice time. All right. Lovely. I mean, it almost doesn't really need anything else, does it? You know, you sort of could put reverb on if you wanted to, but it's just so rich just by itself. Dial back the envelope on the filter there a little bit. All right, let's back off the pitch modulation and have a look at the choruses. Oh, the chorus was on already. Oh, right. Okay. So that was that was chorus number 1 on. Oh, well, I've turned it off now. This is chorus 1 on. Nobody uses seasick chorus 2. Well, we'll see about that. Maybe I will. Maybe I want this live stream to be seasick. Seasick chorus 2 live stream. Engage seasick. Oh, I see what you mean. Sort of ghost. Oh, I see. You can turn one on. You can have them both on at the same time. I don't know much about the original. When I was in a long time ago, I was in a band in my early 20s. I was in a band and we had a Roland Juno 06. I think this is one of the Juno. It was one of the Junos. And my friend also had a Roland SH101. And I own an SH101 now, but I do sometimes look out for Junos thinking, oh, I want that synth that I played in that band when I was 22. But that was a long time ago. I've forgotten really what they do. So I didn't know that you could have 2 choruses at the same time. Interesting. So this is chorus 2 by itself. Very nice. And this is chorus 1 and 2, which sounds a bit seasick and silly. Might be what you want. Look at the way the buttons go. It's really quite nice. I hope the quality of the animation of the UI is coming across nicely down the stream. Whoops, where's my clip gone? Come back, clip. Very nice. So you can do a high pass before you do the low pass. So you can take some of that sort of bottom end out, but still get the wow of the low pass. What's this? Where's my info box gone? Oh, there we go. No information about that. Okay, never mind. All right, so now we've put a bit of LFO on the pulse width, I think. Is that what we've done? Okay, that sounds very nice. And there was something else in that folder, Maya chorus. Let's have a look. So that's just the chorus. That's very nice. So you can get just the chorus if you want, just in its own little thing. So we can have loads of that. Two chorus ones on top of each other. Beautiful. Okay, so let's have a look at the mono one, which is, I think, the SH101. So this I sort of got to play with a little bit because we were meeting to compare it with SH101s. I have an SH101. I think he borrowed one. And we were playing around. Nice, that portamento. Lovely stuff. I'll should know my way around a little bit. This one a little bit, but lovely plucky envelope. You can really get like a kick drum super quick. A lovely muted kick drum. Why don't we just maybe like make a kick just from that? What tempo are we at? 96. That's good for a Thursday, I think, isn't it? Huh, that worked out quite well. Let's get those a bit more. Actually, it was better the way it was because of the attack. When you do synths with a little bit of attack, you have to play them a bit early so that their decay stage happens right on the beat. So you've got to play a bit ahead, a little bit ahead. So I just made a really nice kick drum from that. And then if we... Yeah, I love making kick drums on the 101. Lovely stuff. Okay. Could we make a hi-hat? Could we make a hi-hat? Probably not, because there's not really a high pass. Not a great hi-hat. Maybe what we could do is go and get, I don't know what any of these other ones are. Let's try this EQ73. Let's put this EQ73 on it at the other end, and then maybe we can do like a... What's that? Okay, so I've kind of been able to sort of high pass that a little bit. Okay, tasty. Turn the mixer down. Turn the mixer down on what? Only keep the noise. Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, let's get another mono one in and sort of try and make some sort of... First two ones there. should be able to snap these all to the grid, shouldn't I? Let's put scale on, fold, select all, fit to scale. It should take out some of those bum notes I did, maybe. Or it might just sound interesting anyway. Absolutely, completely, intentionally not trying to sound like a specific band from the mid to late 90s. In fact, it doesn't actually. My favourite is that kick. I'm going to try and do a bass now. Where am I on the push? Oh my God, I burp in appreciation of that. That's what it's all about. That is it. That's it. That is what you want. You can kind of get the same thing with two sawtooths out of tune next to each other, or you can do a pulse width on a square. That's the shit right there. Wow. Wow. Yes, that's very, very good. Oh, wow, there's a really sharp little sort of flick there. Oh, is it because I've got the LFO on? That's probably what I was... Oh, there's a little something going on there. Whoosh. Wow, cool. I'm sorry if you have pets. Oh, they're getting upset. Sorry for your pets. That's kind of what I want the bass line to be. See if I can do it. Best work of my career. Oh, I screwed that up. Doing something. Where's the pen? There we go. Oh, I kind of don't want the pen actually. I just want to make that a bit shorter. I kind of wish that Ableton did a thing where you kind of, when you sort of do the pen there, it kind of cuts it. But it'd be nice if you could sort of cut it the other side. Like if I wanted to cut there, I could do that. But if I want to cut the other side, there's no, you can't do it. Fucking MIDI sucks. By itself. last one. It's a bit silly. Let's go up an octave now. Bit too low for the sub, but we'll have a little bit of sub in. Triggering the random on the new key. I like that. Yeah, that's good. We'll put a bit more of that in there. Yeah, okay. This is kind of janky, but you know, I haven't planned this. It's all just coming out of me. It's Muse. Well, it's not Muse, the band. It's Muse. It's my Muse. It's my essence. Another Maya in, and maybe we can do like another sort of harmonic part, some different chords. Maybe let's just do like a different vibe. There are some presets you can ping. There are built-in presets, which is kind of interesting. So down here you've got this sort of preset thing. We can choose some. Can't remember what the chords were. Chords, damn it! What's that? F sharp. Let's just listen to these chords by themselves. Can't remember what it was. I just played it a minute ago. Oh, I can see it now. That's what's nice about the push, is that you can sort of play the MIDI and it shows you on the pads what you're doing. So it's actually here. So let's look at some of the presets. Whistle. Wow. I think these have been modeled on, these are like presets in the original manual for the original synthesizer. I can't be 100% sure about that, but I think that's what it is, like a patch sheet. Trumpet. Violin. Guitar. It's quite good actually. For a sort of synth reed. These are all very juicy. Piano one. Let's go up an octave. Oh. That sort of mod is coming a bit afterwards. Whoops. What have we got here? Organ. That's good. Right, let's take a copy of those and just put that there. Take these, shift them up an octave, and then let's maybe make these a little bit more on the grid. Let's select them all, hit quantize. And then legato them, yeah, okay. And then let's go and get like an arpeggiator. Let's put an arpeggiator on that. See what, come on. When I say drag, you say drop. these names so I don't lose track. Chords 1, this is the kick, this is the hat, this is the sort of lead 1, this is bass 1, this is chords 2. When you're making a song, just make multiple versions of the same idea with different instruments. Overwhelm yourself with options. And then when you get to the arrangement bit, suddenly you've got all of these things. Don't just do 1 chord progression, do 5. Just a little tip for you there to put in your pudding. The hi-hat is a little on the Thomas the Tank Engine side. That was absolutely on purpose. I think I maybe turned on this new thing where you get like a little crown. It's sort of a little bit kind of. YouTube have added a thing now to live streams where you get a crown if you have, depending on how much you comment. So if you want to get a crown, comment more. If you don't want to get a crown, you don't care about that. I can see that Fisk is currently number 3. Pretend Passing is currently number 2. I don't know how. I can't control that. I don't know. Just if you want to get a higher ranking crown, keep commenting. covered the instruments. I'm starting to quite enjoy this, actually. I don't know what I did. It's just sort of what happens, isn't it? So you don't think about it, and then you suddenly have all of these things, and you're like, oh, this could actually turn out quite good. It's sort of kind of weird. I wasn't really thinking, but now now my imagination's starting to kick in, and I'm starting to think like, oh, this could actually mean something. Do you ever feel like that when you make music? You just sort of mess about, and then suddenly you're kind of like, oh, hang on a minute, this bit here, This just sort of sounds like where you sort of you throw everything in, and you make it all go brown, and then you squeeze a bit out, and it's like, oh, this is a really nice shade of sapphire. All right, so let's have a look at this break, and then let's have a look at the curves. This is a good break to do this with. Now this break sounds quite good already, I think. There's a huge amount going on in that low end. All these transients are kind of, the kick and the snare are sort of nice. I kind of actually processed these loops already, so that to my taste, they are pretty good. The kicks and the snares are pretty dead on, but all the sort of ghosty bits in between are a little... But anyway, let's have a look at the curve. So this is based on the Pultec, as far as I know. So what you do is you boost and cut frequencies at the same time. It's mad. What does that mean? Well, I don't know, but what you get is some really interesting stuff, particularly in the low end. But let's sort of have a look here. So yeah, I kind of want to get another drink. That's sort of quite a lot I had to say about this. Look, we've got more of these sort of slewed animations here. When you sort of turn them, you kind of turn them and let go, and they sort of come to a little sliding stop. So what we have is that we have a boost and a cut on the low end, and we have these notched frequencies. This is something I'm going to get to quite later because I'm quite interested in this. So what we can kind of do is we can say, right, we want to do a boost at 50 hertz. Now that's already quite loud, but maybe come down a bit here. We can do it 80, 120, 180, 240, 320. I seem to remember 60 being on it. Maybe I was wrong. Anyway, so these are all kind of really your sort of low end going into your low mids, I think. But once you've done a boost, you can do a cut in the same frequency. So let's do it at 50. Let's do the boost at 50. And now let's do the cut. Now the snare is gone a little bit, but that kick. At 30, I kind of quite like it. It's sort of putting loads of weight in without it being too overbearing. Like if we kind of just have without the cut. So this is no boost. This is a 30 hertz boost. This is a 30 hertz cut on the boost. It's something weird and magical happens there, and I really like that. I used to use the Native Instruments version. I've always thought I'd kind of quite like to get a Pultec and put it on my mic. I kind of thought I want that boost and cut on my voice, and then maybe people will stop complaining about my mic. Right, let's try it with... Okay, so now we're doing a boost at around 1 kilohertz. So if we went to 50, that that snare that we've kind of lost by boosting the kick so much. We can kind of bring it back. Yeah, there it is. Let's just do it. Let's just do a comparison then. Yeah. All right, we're starting to get a little bit loud. Let's turn this down. This is a break beat. This is a break beat. This is break beat. This thing, you want to clean up your brakes, get one of these. And then we've got the. Now we could just be kind of just putting loads more gain on top. So that's off. That's on. I was going a little aggressive. We could maybe go to something like here. Something like this. Let's do the same thing on the bass. Let's have this break and the bass at the same time. Makes bass sound like a nice round ball that you just want to reach into the speaker and grope. In a consensual way, of course. Okay, what I'm going to do is I need to disappear for a few minutes. So I'm going to set all these to like a follow action, and then we can sort of listen to that arrangement kind of just play itself. Let's just go other, and let's say play 4 times. Let's see if this works. Let's just trigger this scene here. Turn the solos off. Okay, everything's a little bit loud, so let's just grab everything. Let's just grab all the stuff. What's that? Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Let's just grab all of these. Let's just maybe turn them down a little bit, and then... Right, I'll be right back. Looks like they didn't work. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory. So I started talking to, I started talking to Mono 4 years ago, and he came to me and he said, "I want to make a pull tech." I was like, "Okay, good luck with that." He was like, "No, I want to do it either in Ableton or in maxforlive." I was like, "Well, I could try and help you." We got talking about why the pull tech was so good. And so I wanted to talk about these sort of notched frequencies. Now, some time ago, I kind of thought that I was going to start up a business, a studio where I was going to record bands, blah, 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 blah. And after sort of, by that point, 15, nearly 20 years of mostly making electronic music, I kind of had to go back to school a little bit and sort of learn how to do things like EQ vocals, guitars, bass, like more traditional instruments. And I found myself leaning towards more traditional EQs for this reason, because of these notched filters. Like very, very, very clever people once upon a time did really good things that still work. And I think they're still incredibly useful. Like there's a lot of bros who kind of just like, they like to they like to think that they're engineers, and they get their EQ 8, and then they kind of do that, you know, and then they sort of do this, and then they kind of like do this, and they draw like little faces, you know, and then this sort of stuff. And it's like, you know, and they sort of do this, and then they get like 3 of them like that. And then, you know, and then they put one there, and then this one's here, and then, you know, that one's there. Well, let's just, you know, and I'm sure there's a very, very good reason why they've done that on their snare drum. But I don't buy it. I understand that electronic music, the spectrum of electronic music, is much wider than a lot of traditional, let's say traditional music. By traditional music, I'm going to say music with real instruments in it, orchestras, bands, acoustic bands, jazz bands, blues bands, rock bands, whatever kind of band. Lots of these instruments are very similar and sit in the same register of the frequency spectrum. So it kind of makes sense. Someone thought once upon a time, well, everyone's recording all these bloody guitars. Why don't we make an EQ where, you know, we can have these frequencies for where those instruments are. And then if you want to make them a little brighter or a little duller or a little louder or a little quieter, you can just go to that frequency rather than, you know, doing this stuff. All right, well, I'm sort of kind of being slightly facetious, I'm sure. I'm making fun of people on Reddit, but so when I started looking back at some of these older EQs, and I've never really bought a huge amount of plugins, actually. I had a little period when I was thinking about starting up this business, starting up a little mobile recording studio. I thought, I'm going to go and look at some of these plugins. Like, some of them are quite good. I kind of thought, what did I buy? I bought the Waves SSL channel strip plugin. I always thought a channel strip plugin is a really great thing. Like, actually, I kind of wish Ableton made one. I kind of quite like that in Reasons. So I've got Reason 13. That's the. If we just pull up the rack quickly. I don't know if you can kind of do this in the plugin, but certainly in the standalone version, that their mixer, essentially each channel on the mixer is a channel strip. I think they've kind of got it here, actually. Yeah, so they sort of have this channel dynamics and then this channel EQ. So this is kind of what you get in one channel of the mixer. And everything that you need is just there. And smart people once upon a time said, this is all that you need. And lots of really great stuff came out of that. Why argue with that? So I started to think, actually, I kind of want an EQ with notched filters in, because I kind of want my stuff to sound musical. Yes, I am preaching a little bit. Someone's put preach in the comments. Does that mean preach like, yes, tell it? Or preach like you're preaching sharp? I don't know what that means. When I'm not really down with YouTube live chat lingo. I think you get my point. I've always sort of kind of hoped that maybe Ableton or perhaps someone could make a really nice one-stop channel strip device where I can drop it in. I've got a fairly half-decent like EQ. So I could probably build it right now. Let's just go to like the main channel. So we would probably start with something like, we get the gate in. We get the gate. I suppose you could just make this actually yourself. You get the gate in, and then what do you have after that? You maybe have, what do we have after that? You have like maybe a bit of channel EQ, and then you have a little bit of compressor, maybe like a bit of glue, so something like this. And then if you want, you can swap that round. You can have the EQ at the end or whatever. Like, put that all into one thing. And then you just load that. And, you know, like, I mean, even this is kind of like, so look at this channel EQ. The mid-range only goes from there to there, right? Because someone thought that is all that you need, and you only need one. Why do you need 8 bands? Someone is going to give me a good response, give me a good reason, and I would be happy to hear it. Anyway. transparent EQs. So, like, in some sort of cases where, like, if you've got something, maybe I can kind of do it on this snare, on this drum loop or something. Let's turn that off. Like, you've got something, maybe we could do something like this. Let's solo this. I'll just come down a little bit on the volume. See, I'm not really getting any irritating frequencies on this because I'm sort of... Oh, what happened? All right, let's say that that's a slightly irritating resonant frequency. Okay, we can take that out like that. And then we can do the same again here. But I'm kind of like, if you've got irritating frequencies in your sound, why are you even using them in the first place? You've recorded everything wrong. Go and do it again. I don't know. Probably best that I don't charge people money to mix their music. Or I'm just turning into one of those old grumpy people. Let's have a look at some more of the stuff we've got here. Mono. So we've got the volume. So let's have a look at the opto comp. So again, not a huge amount of stuff going on. There's just input and makeup. Sidechain frequency. Don't know what that is. Oh, there's a blend here. So again, it's just another sort of smart compressor that sort of that you don't really need to worry about. Someone somewhere has done all the worrying for you so that you can just dial something in very quickly and just arrive at something that either will do for now so that you can maintain a nice vibe, or is just enough that you can move on. So that's a little bit too much. So that's a little too much. Let's see what it's like before the curves EQ. Kind of the same. Again, incredibly nice UI stuff here that looks like it wants to go in a new direction, but still living in the realms of that vanilla Ableton Live user interface experience. Not like kind of going too skeuomorphic. Like this is kind of a little bit more skeuomorphic, but it's not so much in the sense that, like, you know, it's got shadows because there's a light, there's like some spilt coffee. Oh my God, everyone's talking about EQ. What have I started? You people probably know more about this than I do. I don't fucking know anything because I'm not a mix engineer. I'm an artiste. An artiste. All right, let's have a look at this. Console 80. Let's have a look at console 80. Let's go to, what should we do? Let's go to our chords here. Right, we need to trigger a scene with the chord. Right, I'm just going to turn all of that fucking follow action crap off. Okay. Console 80. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh, it's a summing mixer. No, that isn't what I thought it was. Let's have a look at comp times 55. Ah, here we go. Let's do this on the whole mix. So I think this might be 11. No, I can't. Is this the? Oh, suddenly I've gone blank on retro compressors. The DBX thing from the 60s. I can't remember. Someone help me. Oh, look at that. So the attack is there and the release is there. That's interesting. Is that attack? And that's attack, recovery. Now I'm being quite aggressive here for DBX 160. That's it. Thank you. I'm not too sure if that's exactly what this is, but it's those old compressors where they didn't really have a huge amount going on control-wise. So I'm being a little bit aggressive with this, but thought like where is it like I'm just sort of rambling here a little bit. Is it yeah, I always thought kind of auto release. It's like, well, if someone's decided that the release can do it itself, why do you even need to worry about setting it? That's just another one of these things. I just think like, why do I have the option? Like, why do I need to have a soft knee or a hard knee? Like, why can't you just fucking do it? Like, I pay for it for you to do it, not for me to tell you how to do it. I pay for you to tell me how to tell you how to do it. Okay, this is probably not the best thing to use on the whole mix. Pre-73, I'm fairly certain I know what this is. This is like a preamp. I can't remember. I should have done some research so that I could sound more brainy. I know what they are. I've seen them. You can get them. You can get them in the 500 series format. It's like a preamp. Wow, that could be nice for tracking stuff. If you're tracking people, vocals, little bit of bass guitar, you need a little bit of drive after the DI. You know, all kind of like modeled so that it distorts in not a nasty digital way, in that nice soft analog way, because that's what people like. I think I've kind of done everything now, haven't I? Oh, the tape, yeah. So the tape, so we'll sort of wrap this up. How long have I been going? About an hour. Yeah, I think I'll probably sort of kind of wrap it up now. We'll wrap it up with this tape thing. So this is sort of a thing that kind of does the tape. Pre-73, that's it. Yeah. Neve, that's it, the Neve. Thank you. So this is a sort of tape machine, and it's beautiful animation. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely fantastic. And you can sort of see how the spools speed up and slow down. It's just so satisfying. You can just sort of sit and watch that. And then you've got kind of different tape I believe even this has all been kind of modeled faithfully on the machines. And then you've got different types of tape here. And then you've got some hiss. And then this is the IPS, I think, the IPS. So this is something I think you would maybe want to lo-fi your stuff with, give it some character. It's quite a fun little noise source as well with that hiss thing. I don't know if it needs to go on the whole mix. I might put it on that first chord thing we did here. There we go. So it's just starting to crap out a little bit. There we go. We can really hear that warble now. Turn that wear down a little bit. I tell you what, let's put that. I'm trying to get an album finished at the moment, and one thing I've been doing is crapping all over my reverbs, trying to make them sound god awful. This is something that would be like really perfect for that, actually. So why don't we send? Maybe I'll just make a. Yeah, I'm just going to make a scene with just that, but I've got one over here. Right, okay. So let's like send this into a reverb here. We could do it on the track, but let's do it on a send. Let's get this. Let's get like a shimmer in. I was sort of thinking to myself, shimmers are so everywhere now that are they a little passé? Are they a little done? Is shimmer kind of done? And then you play with one and you're like, no, they're not done. They've still got so much to offer. But they are a little everywhere. You know, sort of in the early 90s, you'd hear a shimmer and you'd be like, holy fuck, what the hell is that? It sounds like God. And that's how God sounds. And then, you know, now you can buy a shimmer from Behringer for like 30 quid and they're not so kind of esoteric anymore. And sort of slightly overdone, maybe. I don't know, maybe they're not overdone in the kind of lo-fi. People with you know, SP404s and Jaguar guitars, sort of. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So let's get that tape thing and put that on the shimmer and go really shimmer warble. This chord progression, I might use it. It's not really particularly interesting. There's just something that sort of, I don't know, it just sort of came out of nowhere, and I like things that come out of nowhere. It kind of makes me think I had nothing to do with it, and then I kind of feel less anxious about it. Sort of weird. of this lead, but I'm going to do one with this like very squealy. So they're all overlapping. There's something that we can do here, I think, isn't there? There's sort of something that you can kind of do with the transformers. Is it? Which is it? No, that's the generator's ornament. You can kind of. Is this it? No, that's not it. Which is it? Is it glissando? Connect. Maybe it's connect. Oh no, that was terrible. No, not that. I can't remember which. Recombine span. Oh, I never really use these things. I think it's this. You can sort of change the you can sort of vary the length at which stuff kind of overlaps or whatever. I don't know, that might kind of work in the context of this sort of kind of 101 thing. Some notes overlapping, some not. I think I've had enough now. So yeah, what have I just done? Yes, so the mono maxforlive devices on the Isotonic Studios website, and you've got a hell of a lot of really juicy stuff. You've got Mono 1, which is a mono synthesizer. You've got Maya, which is here, which is a classic poly synthesizer. What else do we have? We have the tape. Which is tape. It's tape. Got the Octo comp. What else do we have here? What's the Curves EQ? Well, I think I went into plenty of depth about that. Oh look, there's a little. What's that? Oh look, there's different types, modern and vintage. Very interesting. Very good stuff. Nice to look at. Nice to use. Not much faff, which I like. I like sort of a balance between having no options and having too many options. Option paralysis is something I'd like to avoid, but at the same time, I want to feel like that I'm in charge of the decisions that I'm making. I feel like that, particularly something like this, is doing that for me. Sometimes you just want to chuck a compressor on and just turn it up and just know that it's going to just at least do something. You don't want to be thinking, what kind of ratio do I need? Like, because the dynamics of this piece are sort of, you know, if I'm going 3 dB over here, but here I'm only going 1 dB over. So what ratio do I need? You don't want to think about that stuff. Also, track it with the compressor on. That's sort of something I've been looking at, or bounce it. Anyway, so that's it. That was really all I wanted to do. So I hope you had a nice time. Thank you for watching. Wow, I had like 75 people at one point. That's really good. I haven't really been looking at your comments. Sorry, everyone. But I can see that you've all got your crowns. So that's good. All right. That's it. I'm going to go. We'll have another quick listen, I suppose. And then I'll see you again. I'll be back with more videos and stuff. Got loads of ideas for videos. Don't worry. And I got a new album in the works. And then I want to do. I'm gonna have a Bandcamp listening party. And then I thought, I wonder if I could do an AMA on Reddit, because Ned Rush gets name dropped quite a lot on Reddit. And I kind of thought, I wonder if they'd let me do an AMA. And then I thought, what could be fun is that I can invite you all to come along and give me really trolly questions. Like, what is your favorite musical note? More Reason content. Yes, I would be up for doing more of that too. I do have Reason now. Reason 13 Studios. I've got everything. I just don't know if it shoots. I just don't know if it looks as good on screen. I'm trying to find a way to make it look good on screen, if I'm honest. But actually using it as a rack plugin in Ableton is feeling like the right way to go, because we can have Ableton and Reason on the screen. And like, I like Reason very much. I think it's some of the best sounding stuff. Excuse me. I think it's some of the best sounding stuff. I just find their user interface is a bit of an eyesore, because I've been spending too many decades staring at this grey screen that, like, when you sort of load in Reason, as good as it is, you sort of get like, you sort of load one, oh my God, there's so much color. And then, oh my God, it's like another thing. And it's like so much color. Oh my God, even more color. There's just like so much color. And now they've made it like nice and big. You can make it obviously like bigger as well. So I'm already on a upscaled 4K screen. So I've upscaled this to 1080p for the live stream. So it's already huge. And because my eyes are getting so old and warty, it's certainly a lot nicer to look at than... That's too big. I've made it too big. This thing's really good, actually, this polar pitch shifter thing. I really want to like use it to make mad effects. I always used to like it for making mad effects, like not algorithmic, but sort of modular effects that switch and everything sort of does. It's got built-in sequences and stuff. And then this synth grains, what's it called? Where is it? There it is. Grain sample manipulator is really good. And Friction, I think Friction is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I will. I'm just trying to relearn it and come up with some good ideas. I will be getting into that again very soon. Okay, I think we'll hit it on the head there. Thanks everyone for watching. Go and buy the mono stuff now. Do it now. Do it for me. Do it for everyone. Do it for yourself. I don't think you're going to regret it. I mean, look at this stuff. Look, it's just it's just nice to look at. Just buy it and take a screenshot and have it on your desktop. Okay. Thanks everyone. See you next time. Bye.